Right now at Sprint, get any next-generation Samsung Galaxy phone and get the new Galaxy S10e to use on us with Sprint Flex Lease. The Galaxy S10e has a pro-grade camera for effortless pro-quality images. Visit a local Sprint store, sprint.com/Samsung, or call 800-SPRINT-1. Galaxy S10e, $31.25 per month. Second phone, $0 per month after $31.25 per month credit. Apply within 2 bills. Requires 2 new lines and 18-month leases. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Excludes tax, subject to credit, $30 activation fee and restrictions. Offering coverage not everywhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Well, welcome to the Hollis Chapman Show on Blog Talk Radio. Hey, we want to make apologies for last week. We had some tech problems, so we were here. Our guest was there and here, but nobody could hear us. So we had to text working on the program, so now we're set and good to go. So hopefully everybody can hear us today. So it's great because, you know, we're in March, my birthday month. It was yesterday. Yay for me. And, you know, you start in January, you figure out, and it's always on everybody's resolution for the new year, losing weight, be healthy, stuff like that, because we want to live a long, long time. I want to live 30, 40 more years. So it's all about health, all about taking care of yourself, all about the food thing. And I know I'm a stress eater, so it's days where life gets in the way, and then my go-to thing is food. How do you handle that? How are you done? So I'm going to ask you this question. It's March, 3 months into the new year. How are you doing with your resolution of losing weight, getting better shape? How are you doing? Are you still going to the gym? Are you still on your diet? And she's going to talk about diet, the word diet. It's not a great thing to say the word diet. It's a new lifestyle change. That's what I'm trying to say to myself, lifestyle change. You know, I got to find other alternatives when I get stressed. Don't turn to food. You know, I love going to the gym, so I'll do that. But the food thing is what I got to control. You know, I mean, I just got word a couple of days ago that a good friend of mine that I did referee football with passed away. So when you as you get older, you see a lot of that, friends and associates passing away for one thing or another. So it really hits you in the face. Reality really hits you. That you're just thankful that you get up out of bed every day. Like I said, I got a son. I want to see him do great things. I want to be around for years to come. Our guest, very special, very thankful, speaker, author, nutritionist, wellness educator, Lana Nelson. She's here to talk about her book, her food code that her and her husband generated, created for us. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Ms. Lana Nelson.
Hello,
how you doing?
Hello. It's great to be here. Am I coming through okay?
There you go. Yes, I hear you perfectly. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Beautiful.
So, yes, we thank you very much for coming on this show. Like I said, it's March, 3 months into the new year. So you're perfect timing for us to come on this show because we can kind of talk about that New Year's resolution of losing weight and diets and stuff like that. So perfect timing because this is a 3-month period. Most people have probably given up already on their healthy lifestyle. So before we get into the questions, please introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself and your new book, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your listeners being here as well. My name is Lana Nelson, and my new book is called The Food Codes, Intuitive Eating for Everybody. So this is for your body, for your health and wellness. And a little bit about me is I work in the energy field, the quantum healing field that is, very, very becoming very known around the world. And everything is energy. And, of course, I know you know that, and most of your readers do too. So this is all about energy, all about food, a little bit about me. I live actually in northern Montana and love living. I like sailing and, fishing, and I have a huge family. One thing to know about me is I have 12 children. So my husband and I joined forces many years ago, and I might talk a little bit more about that in the show. But so I've learned a lot about feeding a lot of people and families and so forth. So I have a joint family. My husband and I joined two families together 25 years ago, and loving to be on your show here today.
Okay, thank you. And again, we'll talk more about that, because one of the big thing is how, and again, I'm sure you know how to do it now, how do you prepare healthy, good food for a family? So you have tricks, because how do you prepare healthy, good foods for a family of 14? That's just amazing, So, but we'll talk about that in a second. I got to say, too, that this show is sponsored by Audible Trial. And please go to Amazon and check out Lana's new book and stuff like that is there. But if you go and mention the Hollis Chapman Show on audibletrial.com, you get a free 30-day download. So go to that, check that out. There's one of our sponsors for today, so we're very happy for that. But, okay, so let's start off with that. I mean, since you said you have 12 children and you got 14 mouths to feed, very busy. Do you grow up on a farm? Was it a farm that you guys had?
No. Well, we did live in an old farmhouse when my husband and I first got married that had 5 bathrooms, like 2 stories. It was a big house out in the country. We raised a garden and so forth. Right now, our children are all married and have children of their own. Most of them have children of their own. And so, but getting together with family gatherings is an amazing thing. And in my book, in the recipe section, I show you and teach you, first of all, I teach you how to test what your good foods are. And I know we'll talk about that. But I teach you how to feed a family of 1 or a family of 12 and how to incorporate your good foods for everyone in that. I make it simple. It sounds kind of complex, but I make it very simple by teaching you some very interesting and good combinations, tips, and tricks, even if you've never cooked before.
Outstanding. Okay, we're going to go back a second. I kind of jumped over this, but it says in your introduction, pain is something many people have resigned themselves to. Over a decade ago, that's what Lana believed in for herself, that you had pain and public inflammation, stuff like that. So when you're going through that, kind of share with us how you overcame that and give us some ideas of how we can start to overcome that, the pain, the cranky knees, the sore back, this not feeling just 100%. How did you overcome it, and what ways could we take to start overcoming the pain?
This is a great one. Pain has a lot to do with many factors, okay? One person's pain can deal with certain issues. Another person's pain has totally different roots. And what happened to me was many years ago, I was in a car wreck. I was in a small car. I had a dental lab, and I was delivering a set of dentures early one morning so someone could eat, okay? And I was rear-ended by a semi-truck, and I was in my small delivery car. And fast-forwarded that ambulance ride to the hospital and head injuries, shoulder, neck, and back injuries. I had pain for 10 years. I sought medical help all that period of time. And after a while, I started really, really searching into natural. And this was in the 80s, actually, Chapman, Hollis. And energy medicine was woo-woo back then, okay? Yoga was really weird way back then. Now it's in everybody's life practically. It's a wonderful thing. So back then, and I started looking for, finally it's like nutrition and food might help me. And also one of my neurologists says, I think you should see a chiropractor. So that the chiropractors do manipulation and energy healing and so forth. So I saw a chiropractor. I had been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which if you hear any news about that, it's incurable, little air quotes around that. However, going to the chiropractor 3 times a week, I did get some help. I started doing massage. I started juicing, and juicing was really weird back then too, okay? Juicing was like, what you're doing what? You're juicing cabbage juice and drinking it? That's crazy. Yeah. Well, we know now that probably, 2/3 of our listeners have done have done some juicing during this new year. But so doing all of those things, and one day I said to a friend of mine, I'm seeing a chiropractor 3 times a week. I should marry one. And we just giggled and laughed. Well, what goes out to the universe usually comes back to you. I actually met my husband, Dr. Bruce Nelson. We married about a year later. I met him on a blind date, and he specialized in fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, which was it was very, very newly diagnosed, so to speak, the words and so on at that period of time. Well, 2 weeks, so that my changing point for help and my big turning point that you asked was when I met Dr. Bruce Nelson. 2 weeks later, with his techniques, I was out of pain, and that has been, we've been married 25 years this past October. And so I have been pain-free. I've had full range of motion in my head, neck, and shoulders. And then after our marriage, I actually started working in his office with him. He had patients coming from all over the U.S. and Canada and some other parts of the world with very serious illnesses. And I discovered that pain and getting out of that had to do also not only with energy medicine, but the energy of food. So I developed through muscle testing, and we'll talk more about that if you like, but I developed a way of how to test your best foods for healing, for pain, for weight loss, or whatever the problem was that you needed. And so each one of our very ill patients, I made their perfect food plan. So the foods that they should eat and the foods that they should stay away from. And this was part of the healing. Does that make sense, Hollis?
That does a lot. But my question to you, though, and a lot of listeners probably say the same thing, is so you have a big family, we got life goes on, we got full-time job, we got probably sporting events for the little kiddies, we got everything going on. How do you have time to prepare? Because I know you guys created the food codes and stuff like that, how to balance things out. Well, how does a busy person take a moment, even though we know we should create the balanced food for ourselves? How do we do that in a timely, efficient manner?
You have great questions. How you do that is first you discover what foods are good for you, okay? So you can eat, sometimes you can eat a fast food. You can eat out. You can grab a meal at a restaurant. I actually teach you in my book, The Food Codes, how to eat out and how to test the foods on the menu via muscle testing and testing, is this a good meal for me right now? Is this a high energy meal and food for me? But also, when you know what foods are your best foods and your family's foods, it's easy to shop. It's fast. You don't go through the store looking at every label or going, oh, gosh, should we get carrots today? Oh, I don't know. Should we get this? You know exactly what foods that you need to eat. So with a book and on my website, I have got a nice printable food list, I guess, that you can write in your top foods. You can easily go to the store, find out what you need, and then preparing ahead. And there's lots and lots on the internet these days about preparing ahead. But it's a very fast thing now to do your shopping, knowing my method. And then you can prepare ahead. I mean, if you have greens and things, you can chop and prepare like one day a week or something. Have things have your foods in the refrigerator to grab and go. And also, you can prepare a lot of meals ahead. Say, make a big pot of soup or stew or a casserole, and then divide that into 4 different meals or 2 different meals for how many are in family. Does that make sense, Hollis?
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I like
really
this.
Easy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, because I know me, I get lazy. But I know I'm really trying, like on Sunday, spend my time preparing for my stuff during the week. You know, and it's because I said again, if I have a full day during the week, the first thing I do is go to the quickest, easiest thing for me to throw down. And after I'm done eating, I go, why did I eat that? You know, so it is. I gotta work harder and stay focused on preparing my food so I can have this stuff right there. Go ahead, man.
I'm sorry, but Hollis, when this is a relationship, first of all, I want to talk about a relationship with food too, because if you're going to sit down with a friend, you're not just going to throw down the conversation and then get the heck out of there and go, oh, I really hated that. No, you have, food is our first relationship, and so in my book, I teach you how to develop this first relationship with food. And like a baby, when you feed a baby is going to eat when they're hungry. They won't eat. They'll spit the food back out if they're not hungry. And if they don't like it, you're not going to get it in their mouth either. So learning the foods we need to eat, and then how to have a relationship with those foods in developing and going back to our first relationship, you become more conscious of food. And it's not just popping something in your mouth and eating. It's like a relationship. And it can be developed into something very, very beautiful, returning to our roots with food. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, and it brings me back to this question. Yesterday, I just finished doing a ball game. I'm a high school sports official. I was doing a game. I happened to talk to a gentleman who just finished giving instructions on his in the car to students. But I said we should bring back driving a car, teaching in high schools, plus food. Teaching people, like you said, relationships. Teach them at a young age. Like I said, they're born this way. Babies spit out the food, don't want it. They sit there and they want to eat it. But when we're high school, I think the biggest thing they made was pulling out home ec out of the high school, because that is a great time to teach these youngsters how to have a relationship with food, because the obesity in the high school kids is enormous, because you see around a lot of high schools, you got all these fast food places right there, and they aren't taught how to have a relationship with food, right?
Yes, exactly true. And one of the things, I've kept that totally in mind with my book. Yeah. So the first part of the book talks about relationship. It talks about digestion. It talks about some nice techniques where you can actually digest food better and so forth. And then I think I've created something that's really unique. Recipe templates, and you being able to use whole foods. Whole foods are where we are going to get our best nutrition, our best satiety with fullness and satisfaction, as well as nutrition. Okay, whole foods is the whole enchilada, so to speak. But I have created recipe templates and examples of how people use them, a single person or a family of one or a family of five. And so how to, if you've never boiled water, how to do this. So I have those exact people in mind. I have grandchildren that are learning to cook, and it's very fun. We will get together and they will make something, we will make something, and, say, oh my gosh, I loved what you did with this or did with that. So it's also connecting and reconnecting family as well as community, like schools and, friends and so forth. So it's more than just food and relationships with food. It's reconnecting family and communities is, one of my major things with food. Yeah.
Yes. Our special guest today is speaker, author, nutritionist, wellness educator Lana Nelson. She's here talking about her new book. And before we go on to our next question, please tell us, where do we follow up with you to get your wonderful book? Where do we go?
Well, you can go to Amazon and just type in real quick, The Food Codes, CODES, The Food Codes, and my book will come up, or Lana Nelson. You may also go to my website, pretty simple, thefoodcodes.com, TheFoodCodes.com. So you can get that and more information there as well. I have a really nice blog.
Outstanding. Yes, you do. I was there this morning. A wonderful blog. Very easy to navigate, to get around to. So, yes, please follow up with that. Okay. You mentioned and you say diets don't work. But we see on TV, we see all the Hollywood stars, like a new thing now is the keto diet, stuff like that. Why doesn't diets work? Why don't they work for most people?
Well, diets have been around since our grandmothers, okay, long time ago. We used to eat by our intuition. We used to eat with the seasons so we don't do that anymore. And the reason diets don't work, they work for someone is the deal. Yeah. But in dieting, we have a mentality of it's all or nothing. So you're on a diet, you can eat nothing. You're off a diet, and you just can go ahead and eat, and back to the dieting again, okay? So diets, and you might try a diet. When you see the little asterisk down below of results not typical, some people will soar on a certain diet, and some people may not. Some people may really diet per se will work for them at some point, and then another time you try it, it just doesn't work because our bodies are each individual. We're interfacing with our environment every single day, every minute of the day. And so we need to know and be able to test what foods are good for me right now. And you can very easily learn how to do that as I give you step-by-step instruction in my book and even pictures showing you how to do muscle testing, how to test what are your good foods and what are your bad foods. But diets don't work in that sense. And here's a very interesting thing. A lot of the people that are coming out with new diets have said in the past, oh, you should not eat fat, a fat-free diet and so forth. And now they're coming out with, really, you should eat high fat. This is a thing that is going to make you lose weight, feel great, and grow hair, for instance. But we are each individual. So we have individual needs. So there's really no way of making one particular diet that's good for everybody. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. You have a wonderful section on recipes in your book. Yours is unusual type of recipes. Explain that. And to explain, I want you to promote and sell yourself in your book now. Why should we turn to your book, your ideals, to try to lose weight and get healthy? Because there's so many. You know as well as anybody that it's thousands of choices, confusing, every new one. And once you see the stars promoting that, oh, I'm going to try that keto diet because Kim Kardashian lost so much weight, so-and-so lost so much weight, and they look wonderful after 3 kids or whatever. You right now, you tell us why they should try your book, try your recipes, and buy your book. Go ahead.
Main reason is to feel better in your body. Okay, whether it is weight loss or whatever, to have a relationship with food, to know when you're full, to know when you're hungry, to be able to know when you're full. We lose that after a baby. We're force-fed often, and so we lose that feeling of fullness. We then in our society today, we've lost our taste with foods. There are a lot of excitotoxins and so forth just flavors that our body doesn't recognize or interface with. But in my book, what I do is the relationship, teach you how to find your food, and then when you found it, how to basically eat mindfully, come together into community, and then how to digest, assimilate your food, eliminate what is not good for you, and anything else. Teach you about air and water and sunlight, also foods for our body. So, and then in the recipe section, reconnecting with foods and cooking. It's an energy thing to cook our own food, okay? Cooking with love. It's amazing how food tastes better. It's more nutritious. And also I teach you to give thanks to your food, because that increases energy as well, because what we're talking about is energy. The reason I called it the food codes was each food has its individual frequency or code. So in the recipe section, I actually take you to finding how shopping, and give you lots of tips on how to shop quickly. Then I teach you, I have templates of spices and the flavors of spices, templates of different foods, whole foods, and how to use those each in certain recipes. And what spice goes with what, and it's just really simple. Like, column A, B, C, D, you can go in there and find what flavors go with what flavors. So you can easily create a recipe, even if you just like, oh, I love Asian food. What goes in Asian food? I have a chart in here that says these are the basic spices, these are the basic foods, and then I give you, what I'm talking about is a template is, let's say you're making a soup. Okay, so how do I make a soup? Well, let's say there are 5 parts water or broth, and that could be 5 cups. There are 2 parts of vegetables, and that could be a half cup of carrots, a half cup of celery, each of those being a part. And then there are, different, there's a dash of salt, or 1 part, a tablespoon being a part of this spice or that. So each of my recipes, I teach you to be interchangeable with different foods and flavors. Does that make sense? Does that sound really cool?
That does, right? That does, because that's a hard problem for me, is because I said I wasn't brought up in the kitchen like that. My mom just prepared it and just put it on the table, but it's getting the spices, getting that down. So it is a real hard one for me. So I'm going to go and try to get just a whole big thing of spices and learn from there, from your book, and I learn how to put what with what. Now, give us a tip now. We get our spices. Where do you place your spices? Right over the oven, right up to the side of the oven, on the counter so we see them? How is your kitchen set up where you make sure you know where the spices are and what spices you have?
You can put them anywhere. Where you see them, they can be in a drawer in the cupboard. Where to keep spices for flavor is in the freezer. Okay, so if you buy like a spice in bulk, and they're a little cheaper in bulk or at a health food store sometimes in a baggie, where you keep your spices flavorful is freezing them, because spices will tend to, to lose their flavor over time. And a tip for enhancing the flavor of a spice is when you use it in a recipe, put it in a dry pan first and just turn the pan on to with a little heat and kind of shake the spice in there until you smell the aroma of it, and that will increase the flavor in your recipes.
Wow, wonderful tip. Didn't know that. Great tip. Okay. Hey, we're closer down to the end. We got a couple more minutes left. So before we get down to the couple questions, please tell us, Ms. Lana Nelson, where do we go again to get your book, go to your website, stuff like that? Where do we follow up with you?
Go to thefoodcodes.com, thefoodcodes.com, or Amazon, and look for The Food Codes by Lana Nelson.
Outstanding.
That's how to follow up with me.
Outstanding. We love that. We're definitely going to follow up. We're going to promote and make sure we get people following up with that, because being healthy is so important. It just, as you get older or older, we have to be healthy. We have to think about healthy, and there's so many wrong choices out there. So with your book as our Bible, our guide, that can help us just prolong our life, feel good, not get out of bed with pain. That's a wonderful thing. So I love that. Okay, final comment. And I know you got some great visions for your book, and got great visions for us who buy your book. But give us an idea. What's on your book bucket list? Some things you want down the future to see the results of your book, results from people that you teach and coach and stuff like that. Let's get into your mind about what's on your bucket list for your book and your business.
Thank you. Excellent question. My bucket list, I already have clients on 6 of the 7 continents, and that's amazing, but I haven't visited them. I would really like to, start doing seminars worldwide, teaching hands-on, teaching you in a seminar how to do that. And I do that in the U.S., but I would like to do that. I'd like to also, so anywhere in the world, you can visit me with a seminar, and I'd like to do online events. I plan on doing those in the near future. I'm populating my YouTube channel with a lot of videos, really getting into that, teaching you short videos on how to do everything in my book. So that is in the process of being populated, and speaking with people like you, and also retreats and so forth. So those are some of the things on my bucket list, as well as just keeping on helping people as much as I can with their relationship, not dieting, and teaching you how to get back to basics and cooking really good things that will feed your soul and feed your body, feed your energy, and help you live longer and happier.
We're so happy that you shared with us today. We're going to give you a standing ovation because it's so important what you're doing for us as a society. So we'll give you a standing ovation for that. Yay! What a great, outstanding
Love
show.
It.
Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing with us. Okay, you have a great weekend. So hold to Dr. Nelson for us, and we appreciate all he does with you. And we'd love to have you back in the future because when it comes to health and diet, every couple of months I love to have people on and talk about that. That's to keep us motivated, keep us on a straight and narrow. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Chapman. Hollis.
Okay.
Hollis.
No
Bye-bye. Love to you.
Thank you so much. People. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, what a great show. And, please follow up like we always do because we work hard to get great guests on our show. And Lana Nelson is a speaker, author, wellness educator, okay, and she knows her stuff. Great things going on. You can go to our YouTube channel, and the website, again, is www.thefoodcodes.com. Follow up there to get up more information, okay, because it's confusing out there. Where do you go? Why does this work? Why this doesn't work, and stuff like that. So you need a guidebook. You need something in your hand to say, hey, this is what I should be following. And I know I'm working hard at preparing my stuff for the week because you know how you have a full day, and the last thing you want to do sometimes when you get home is to prepare a meal. But you can't go to bed hungry, but guess what? You get so hungry around 9, 10 o'clock when you're in bed, you get out of bed to eat junk, whatever you can find. So that's why it's important to do what you got to do, keep your body in tune. And you'll be fine. Hey, the show, I think, went off great. Technical problems today? No. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Join us next week. We have a great guest. Next week, we have a returning guest because he's the one who we lost on the tech problems last week. So join us next week, okay? Join us every week. Follow up. Be great. You guys are always great. Have a great weekend. Be good. And as always, I'll see you next time.
Right now at Sprint, get any next-generation Samsung Galaxy phone and get the new Galaxy S10e to use on us with Sprint Flex Lease. The Galaxy S10e has a pro-grade camera for effortless pro-quality images. Visit a local Sprint store, sprint.com/Samsung, or call 800-SPRINT1. Galaxy S10e, $31.25 per month. Second phone, $0 per month after $31.25 per month credit. Apply within 2 bills. Requires 2 new lines and 18-month leases. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Excludes tax, subject to credit, $30 activation fee and restrictions. Offering coverage not everywhere.